G'day guys, welcome back. Welcome to Pouring Your Heart Out. I'm going to have another go at my little cascade type flower. Similar, hopefully I'm going to try and get something like this, but smaller petals. I love it. So I've got the silver tips on this one. This is my cascade mold, and I dust the tips so that I know I'm going to get those silvery metallic colors on the tips. Pretty much, I don't know if you can do it with other molds, but you can certainly do it with my cascade mold. So it's going for something like this, but I'm going to attempt to get smaller petals. All right. So the dusting today is going to be in the copper. It's Art Tree Creations, and it's a copper metal powder, not necessarily a mica powder. It's more of a copper powder. It's quite heavy. So I'm just going to go and do all of these. I won't bore you with making you watch me do all of them, but I'll just get started. And I am going to use oranges and teals today. Orange and teal. How's that sound? With the copper edge. So basically, it's my take on a few different flower techniques. I learnt the fairy flower technique from resincourses.com. And then once you've done that technique, you can use, or done the course, you can use what you've learnt and create your own sort of variations. And a lot of people are doing that, making their own kind of designs. I don't know whether this particular one needs a name as such, but it's just, I kind of feel as like sometimes it does, because then you go, oh, it was the cascade flower, or it was the fairy flower, or whatever. But it's just basically a combination of a few different flowers that I've seen, and I'm just trying to make it my own. Trying to simplify things a little bit. I don't like them if they've got way too many steps. It's just confusing. It's just confusing. So anyway, this one, it's basically a cross between a fairy flower and a dragon flower. And yeah, I will link resincourses.com course with a coupon code down below if you want to take any of their courses. But yeah, like I said, once you've got the general recipe, the type of resin, the amounts and everything, you can just go ahead and create your own, like everyone's doing. So yeah, it's great. Good starting point, I think. A good kicking off point. So anyway, I'm going to continue with these. I won't bore you. So the orange is the papaya, and the tealy kind of color is swimming pool. If it's a bit too blue, I'll add a drop of teal, but we'll see. Those two. And then I thought, because this is my little container of my pre-made dots that I make, keep your glitter, like, in resin, make little dots. And you can always trim them up later with some scissors, because that one's not, it's not very round. But you can easily trim them up with scissors. So I've gone with this one today, because I think it'll match nicely with my copper and my orange. I did trim it a little bit. Now, when you pour these, they're always kind of domed on the top, so make sure you use the flat bottom, okay? And we'll just pop that in. Hopefully it's centered. You're kind of looking on a bit of an angle, so it may not look exactly centered to you. So anyway, I'm going to put that there. Right, I'm going to finish these. I'm going to mix up my resin, and then I will be right back. Okay, I have finished this, mixed up my resin. I am using the Art Pro, hopefully that'll stick, by Resin Pro. I've got a little bit in here, that's my white, that's the least amount, that's my medium, and that's my most. I've got my clear push. I'm going to add a little bit of this caramel brown to it, I think. Actually, I better not use that. Just because I'd like my streaks to be my little, what do you call them? The little areas between the petals. I'd like them to be a little bit darker. Let's see what that looks like. I may have to add a tiny bit of black. No, I think that'll be all right. I just want to give it a slight shimmer. You know, the little areas between your petals, I like them to kind of stand out a little bit. So I tend to use something that's maybe a little bit darker than my middle color. Anyway, so that'll be for the clear push. Pretty much clear. All right, the bloom. Now, I'm going to try, normally I use like about 6 little drops of bloom. I'm going to try 8 today and see what happens. So give it a squeeze, let it come down, wait till it gets to the tip there, and then let go. 1, squeeze, wait for the tip. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So only little ones. Depending on how much you turn that or how much you squeeze it, you know, you'll get different size drops. So, but that's what I do. I just get a little bit of the bloom at the tip of the nozzle there, release the pressure and let it drip down on its own, and that's generally what size I use. So this is much more white paste than I would use for a 3D bloom, for instance. 3D bloom I use 1 drop per 10 grams. This is 4 drops per 10 grams. So anyway, we'll see what happens. It's looks opaque, but when I tip the stick, I can kind of see through the white on the edge of the stick there. So I guess it's got a little bit of transparency in it, but I am trying to make it more opaque than I did on the last one, just to see if I can change the shape of the petal, if it's sort of dropping more than floating. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Stir it really, really, really well. It's a pretty, I guess it's not too runny. It's not like alcohol ink, but it's not too thick like a paste in a jar. So it does mix really well. All right, that can go into there. So mixed my Art Pro by Resin Pro for 4 minutes, and then I started the video. So I'm not waiting with this one. Some of my other videos I waited for my Art Pro to thicken, but not doing that today. We're just going to jump straight in. That's my white. All right, that's there. Now the next one is the swimming pool. Now I don't want these colors too dark. If you have your colors too dark, sometimes the white it can't get through the color. I know it sounds weird, but don't make your colors too dark. We'll just start with 3 and see how that looks. Always add more, can't we? Okay, that's definitely not dark enough. Now the teal is more green, I think. Maybe I'll add one of those. We'll do one of those. 3 swimming pool, 1 teal. Which is bluer and which is greener? I think the swimming pool is supposed to be bluer. Okay, so that's quite dark now. So 3 and 1. That's as dark as I would want it. Make sure it's not streaky. So still quite transparent, just looks dark because it's in a deep cup there. So that was 4 drops. And then the papaya, let's see how we go with this one. I'll do 4 as well. You can always add more. Now there is a little bit more resin in this cup, not a lot more, but just a teeny bit more. So for this one, I'm going to do 2 pushes. It has been recommended by a few people for your last push to make up a clear batch. And I thought, oh, really? That's such a pain. Why can't we just use the same one? But I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. Use a fresh batch. So, and I'm going to put a little bit of this in the, no, this one. That one, swimming pool. I'm going to put that in there, in the push. All right, so that looks, do they look kind of similar? Hope so. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to do that. So let me just write on my notes here. 3 swimming pool, 1 teal, and 4 papaya. I'll write everything down. That way I know that it's going to be the same if I want to do it again. All right. Hopefully this is going to be dark enough. That'll be onto that. All right. So first thing we're going to do is with the teal color is just go around over the top of that gorgeous copper. I love the copper and the teal together. So these hopefully will be on the edges. Make sure I cover those evenly. Doesn't matter if it's deciding to close up. We're going to pour the orange in the middle. I'll come back to that. Pour the orange in the middle like so. So now we've got like an orangey center. We've got the orangey tips from the copper. And then we've got that gorgeous teal as well. And then when I do my final push, it'll have a little bit of teal in it as well. So hopefully we'll have teal on the outside, then orange, teal in the middle, and then the copper on the edges. So that's my plan. That's my plan, Stan. I was supposed to fill this yesterday and I didn't. Oh gosh. How about this one? Okay, that one works. They don't take very much butane and they empty out pretty quickly. Just going to finish this off that I had a little bit left. I haven't scraped that yet. So I guess move pretty quickly. Get everything ready before you mix your resin so that you're ready to go. You know, don't mix your resin and go, oh, I've got to get the cups out and I've got to get all my inks out and I've got to get my piping bag ready. Get everything ready first. Mix your resin so that you're ready to go, okay? You don't want your resin starting to thicken up because then it won't move as well as it needs to. All right, let's cut the tip off. Out there. You just have to worry, you just have to be careful it doesn't go in there. I think it went somewhere over there. I don't know, I didn't see. But yeah, I mean, obviously you wouldn't cut it over your piece. I only did it so that I could sort of show you what I'm doing. Whoops. All right, here we go. Okay, now I'm just going to start my drops. Feel free to fast forward if you don't want to watch me dropping. Round we go. I'm trying to make them like a little bit smaller. I'm not really pushing on the bag. I'm just basically letting it drop down. If you hold your bag up and the resin kind of just runs out, then your hole's too big. So make sure that you're making your holes small enough that your resin's not just pouring out on its own. Otherwise it's going to be a bit heavy and your white might just sink. Hopefully it'll be all right, this one. Now it does take a while, so I know I've said it before, you can fast forward, I don't mind. Oh gosh. Other than listening to me ramble on. Let me know, like, would you like me just to put this on a time lapse while I'm doing this? Because it just does take a few minutes. Would you like to see it in real time? And again, so I'm just going to cover the whole thing in dots. And you can see them moving in already from the outside. Resin naturally wants to move in from the outside. Don't know why it does that, it just does. So your outer dots are going to move a lot more than your inner dots because the inner dots are already in the middle. They got nowhere else to go. They can't go any middler. The outside ones can still get to the middle, but the middle ones, they can't really go anywhere. So they tend to drop straight down. So you just got to be careful with those ones. I wouldn't say make them any smaller because I'm going to put the push in shortly, the clear push. And that'll move them all out of the way. And if you make them too small, then they're just going to kind of disappear when you do that push. How's that? All right, now I'm just going to go around between all of these outer ones. And then we'll do the push, and then we'll come back, and we'll do some M's. Like I said, the dragon flower, you do M's along the edges. Those of you who have done the dragon flower will know what I'm talking about. If not, stay here and I'll show you what I mean. Now we do need to keep probably half, oops, I went on top of that one. We need to keep about half of our white for the next layer, and it's hard to know how much to keep. It really is. Like, I kind of stuffed it up last time. I didn't keep enough. Now just put that up there so that you're not going to lose your white. You don't want it to drip out while you're busy. Okay, so now we are going to use this bit of brown here. Oops, there's a bubble. You can see another bubble. This must be just moving ever so slightly. Push it down again. A couple of bubbles come up. All right, so now we're going to do this push. It's going to push everything out like so. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, with this same white, we're just going to do some M's. If you're looking at them my way, they're M's. If you're looking at them upside down, they're W's. And again. And hopefully this would just help me have all my dots get pushed into the middle. Now I've still got some left, and we're going to continue with the dots. So filling in the dots on this clear section now, which really doesn't have much in the way of white dots in it. So this is why you need to keep half of your white. But yeah, it's a bit tricky knowing how much is the you know, half. I kind of used too much of it when I was doing that. Oh gosh, which one was it? Maybe I didn't video that one. Anyway, I did one and I used up too much of my white on the first passing. Excuse me. And then I only had enough to do one row of M's, which was still all right. I don't think it was too bad. Okay, so I've got a tiny bit left now. I'm just going to go back in. And I'm just going to go around in front of these M's now, hopefully trying to push those dots forward. Whole thing is trying to get your dots to go forward. Now there's not much left in the bag, so I am having to squeeze it a little bit as I go. I don't want these dots to be too big though, the ones that I'm putting in now. I'm just trying to just get it to drip in. Just trying to put some in between the others where there's a little bit of a gap. Pop a drop in. I'm going to make up another push shortly as soon as I've done this. So with my first batch of resin, I made up 100 grams of part A and 66 grams of part B. The Resin Pro is a 3:2 resin, so that's why it's that. I have shown you my chart previously. Hopefully you all got a copy of it. My little chart showing the 1:1, the 2:1, the 3:2. So yeah, I did 100 grams of A, 66 grams of B, and then when I do my second push now that I'm going to make up, I am going to do, let me look at my notes, what I wrote down. I am going to make 25 grams of A and 17 grams of B is what I am going to make. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll just finish this off. Try and use it all, or as much as I can anyway. Doesn't have to be all of it, but knowing me, I tend to use all of it. Just put some around here in the tips of my M's. So basically I'm putting it more in the center here rather than the outside, because I am going to go and push all of this out again with my other little cup of clear. Well, it's not going to be clear exactly. I'm going to put a tiny bit of this swimming pool in there. All right, bear with me, I'll be right back. Righto, there's my resin, just a little bit. I used a fresh cup so that it was all nice and fresh. Now, I don't know how much I want on this. I might only put a little bit of a toothpick on there just to see first how it's going to go. Don't want it too strong. Remember, this is just supposed to be your clear. I just want a hint of colour. The rest of that toothpick in there. Okay, I think that'll be all right. Don't want it to be too overpowering, do I? I don't know, maybe a tiny bit more, a little bit more on a toothpick. That's my 4 minutes up. I start mixing my colour in at like when I've got 30 seconds left, because I know I have to stir it again rather than mix for 4 minutes and then mix for another 30 seconds. So anyway, that's just what I do. Okay, so that's my little push. Probably don't need all of it, but it's too hard to mix up any smaller amounts. Now I can see that my white has dropped to the bottom there, so hopefully this little push will make them kind of spread out and, you know, be a bit puffy. That's the theory anyway. Hope so. Now I'm not going to do anything else to it, as in put any more white drops on or anything. It's just sort of leave it like that. I will come back to it in about 15-20 minutes. If it hasn't closed up sufficiently, I'll use my little syringe in those dots, because at the moment I can see right through to the bottom there, so it hasn't closed up yet, but I've only just done the push, so we'll give it, like I said, 15-20 minutes or so, come back, see what it's looking like. I hope I haven't lost all the orange now. Oh gosh. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. If I have lost all the orange, the next time I'll just do an orange push at the end rather than the teal, but yeah, you just don't know. Sometimes it looks totally different on the other side, and you think it's going to be just all teal, and then you turn it over and it's more orange, or vice versa. So anyway, I'm going to cover this. I'm just going to use my sieve just so no flies and bugs and things get in it, like that. We'll come and check on it in 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, you guys, it's ready. I've just got it out of the curing machine. It, oh, look at that, just my nails. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see what it's done. It seems that that orange has gone across to the sides in this one. Even though I had the teal on the outside, it looks as if the orange has gone to the outside and the teal's gone to the middle. Even though I poured the orange in the middle, like, oh, go figure. Anyway, let's have a little look and see what happens. I don't think the pattern changes too much, but it kind of, yeah, the colours kind of reverse. They kind of flip. I will link that for you, the Cascade mould, down in the description if you're interested in that one. All right, you guys, let's have a little look. See what it's doing. I hope it's worked. Here we go. Here we go. Oh my gosh. The blue has taken over. Wow. Oh, look, I've got the white not mixed in again properly. Gosh. Well, that looks like a fairy flower to me. With the tiny, tiny little petals. Do you remember the old-fashioned fairy flower? Gosh. Oh, wow. Okay, well, it didn't work exactly how I was planning on it, but look, it's still pretty. Pretty much lost all my orange. My orange looks as if it's gone yellow. hasn't really, yeah, my little tiny bit of the orange left, but yeah, it's basically gone yellow. I can see a little bit of it like kind of peeking through, trying to get through, but yeah, not, again, not what I was going for. I think I'm going to have to go back to waiting for my resin to thicken. I did get better petals when I was doing it that way, so I'm not sure. It's still cool, still cool. Oh, look, oh gosh, it looks really blue through the screen. It's not, it's more it is more teal. When I'm looking at it not through the screen, it looks more, definitely more teal, more aqua, I should say, more aqua, but it looks very blue on the screen there. The colors, they always do, they look much more blue. The greens look blue through the screen. I have no idea why, they just do. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have a fairy flower. Well, I mean, I did pretty much pour a fairy flower, didn't I? A fairy flower with a bit of a dragon flower edge, but basically a fairy flower, which is what I've got. Okay, all right, thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Again, not exactly what I was going for, but it's always a surprise with resin. You just never know. But have a little look. See, look at the little bits of orange coming through there. I'm going to see if I can pick these little white dots out. I tried really hard to stir really well on this one. And you can see, this is what I was talking about. You know, the crackles, that's the word. I couldn't think of the word. The little crackles between the petals. I like it when they're a little bit darker, so they kind of make them, the petals stand out more. So there you go. And the coppery tips look really pretty, and they match with that sort of coppery color in the center there. So happy with that as well. All right, so there you go. Fairy flower for you. All right, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again real soon for the next one. Okay, take care, guys. Bye for now.